Oh, hello! I didn't see you there. This is this is my first champion. So, welcome back. It's been a long week. I'm happy to see you found me again. It's the same day here, so welcome back. But I know it looks like I didn't change shirts, but I did. This is what I own, and really this is. So I did change because it is another day. So in this masterclass, I see so natural just how my stand. I have a few tricks we can talk about. I'll show you, and then also I would like to talk about structuring a set, like either competition set or like an open mic, like just a show. We're talking about openers, closers, everything in the middle. So we'll just get started and we'll see where it goes, and then I have other stuff. So a trick, I have a trick. Watch this. Hello, welcome to the show. I brought snacks. I have chips and a Kit Kat, and yeah, that's probably not going to be enough for all of you. Watch. And then I would pour out chips in smaller pieces. So it's a quick trick. I would clarify as an opener because of what it is, but mostly because of the method. So it's not the best trick in the world. I think it's a fine little opener. It's a good MC bit for a host. But the reason why I think I'm showing this as an opener, just an example, is because of the setup that's used. So it's not the best trick in the world, but this is my gimmick. My Kit Kat chips back thing. And so what it is, there's 4 threads going in this bag. So there's a thread connected on 4, not 4 sides, but yeah, 4 places in the bag. Here's a thread, here, and here. They're just hot glued in. They go inside the bag, and they all come out of this hole here in the back. So here you can see there's 4 individual threads maybe, and then they all just become one thread that goes to this fake Kit Kat. This is the best part of the trick. You get to eat a Kit Kat, and then I replace it with just a piece of wood that has a hole in for the thread, and then this goes in here. Come on, like this. So that's my setup. I would usually have chips in here that I would have then crumbled up, so it's just the dust of chips that can be in the bottom of this. And again, an opener or an MC bit. This setup of this goes behind my back, so the thread is now running from the Kit Kat. It is in between my fingers, in between my second and third finger, like this, and it's just sitting in my hand like this. So I can show these comfortably, but when I pull the Kit Kat forward, it's gonna crumble the back. So I do that by whatever. I just put my thumb on it, keeping in that position, otherwise it will sort of move up. Just keep it in that position, as this can be placed in my pocket, and I can then unfold this and have a little bowl to pour this in, or then just reach in, take out stuff. And then this could be folded up and placed in another pocket, and I could keep going. So an opener because of the setup, but also because of the trick. It's a fine opening. It's a fun way to start a show, at least for what I'm doing. Like, oh, hello friends, I brought snacks. Once I started a competition act when I was, I don't know, 14, 15, by walking in with a cereal box and milk and saying, time for breakfast, and then, no, let's do a card trick instead. So, and it has nothing to do with the act. It was just great opening. So saying you have snacks is fine. And then I've done tricks where I can then pull out another Kit Kat and that's not connected to this and do something with this. But it's just an idea. The thread, it doesn't have to be invisible thread. This is magician's thread because this is Twister Magic thread. He uses this for like floating a cup of Coke or something like that, something really heavy. So it has a lot of strength to it and is sort of invisible. And because my body is hiding most of it and my arm, so an opener. So openers, very important. And I've chosen this basically to be my permanent opener. And the thing is, this helps establish my character, who I am, what they're going to see. Where openers, if you ask me, I think openers is the most important thing in the show because it's the first thing they see. Like, I don't really, not that I don't care, but I don't care about the closer, because hopefully if they've seen the whole show, they're just happy you did the show. But the opener is what's gonna give them like the idea of what is this, who are you. So not thinking about the opener is a mistake in my opinion. Where the reason why I use the ducks is because, first of all, very personal. I don't think anybody else could buy ducks and do that joke. You could change your name, you could move to Denmark, you could buy ducks, and it's probably cheaper than some magic products. But I don't think you should do that because it might joke and it's okay. But it's something that is very personal to me and it's something I'm very comfortable with, even though it's not a trick. That is still the first thing they see. I don't think the opening needs to be a trick. It could just be, what are you saying? How are you looking? What is the energy you bring onto the stage or in the performance? And I do the duck bit even if they don't speak Danish, because then the bit is just something else. It will still give them the image of me holding ducks and it's like, what is going on here? When we did the show in the comedy club, afterwards, Andy asked me why I wasn't introduced as magician, world champion, whatever. It's because I don't want, if I can get away from it, I don't want them to tell the audience I'm a magician in a comedy club, because I don't want them to create the image in their mind of what a magician should look like. I would much rather go on stage with my ducks. They're just expecting whatever, comedy, another entertainer guy, and then give them that image like, hello, I can do magic tricks. And then they get that image of, okay, what is this about? So I'm in control of that. And so an opener is very important. And I would do the chips and Kit Kat opening because it's just fun going on stage and I brought snacks. And again, I could be a comedian, I could be a magician, I could be whatever. That's just a fun way to open a show. And also something you can't really do later in the show because the setup is bad. So I have another trick. Oh, okay, you're still here. Yeah, I was gonna do a trick, and then we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, let's do that. I have a box, and in this box I have cards. So inside here I have a deck of cards. I'm gonna show you one more card trick, and don't worry, I have other stuff. Like look, I have other stuff, but we will get to it later. So first let's do the card trick. Let's put this here. Do the card trick. So I have a deck of cards. Okay, deck of cards. And Andy, just pick any card you want. Okay. Look, Andy Gladwin is still here after a week. He stayed because this is definitely not the same day. Have a look, show it around. Okay, put it back, just like that. And let's do this. Okay. Magicians and cards and hands work together like this because hands are very important. So look, they're almost connected to the cards. So if I do this, the card jumps out of the deck. Was this your card?
Yes.
Yes. I'll do it again. Look, if I put it in the deck like this, and then look, let's just put cards on here like this, so you can see like this. So, okay. Just like that, because they're connected. Look, I'll do this. Look, I'll do this. Look, more cards here and here and here and here and here, and then one card, Queen of Diamonds, Queen of Diamonds. Yay! Trick, magic. Thank you. Yay, yay. So that's a card trick. I know last week I talked about the whole ta-da moment, and this you can really feel how awkward it is when you're in a room only with Andy Gladwin. It becomes really awkward, and that is just because, but he's very nice. Sounded like a joke. He is very nice. So this is a card trick, and it is it's a card trick I really like. I've always loved the magnetic cards plot. I don't like the name because it exposes the method, but I really like the trick. It's an interesting trick. I've just not seen, in my opinion, good handlings where you can do it like, oh, there's just a pile of cards and it sticks. Usually you put your hand down and you stick cards underneath, and it looks bad, and then it doesn't have an ending. So this is my little attempt on giving it an ending and changing the handling of this and making it more of a parlor stage trick. So it has like a routine and a finale. So let's I'll pick the cards up and then I'll show what is going on here, and let's do this. And at this point, I could be entertaining, but I think it's seeing me, the world champion of Magic, picking up cards makes me human. So let's just do this. This is not dead time. This is not dead time. This is okay. Huh. See, aren't you glad we didn't cut this out? So, deck of cards. In this deck of cards, there is two shim cards, two cards that are magnetic, and in my hand I have a magnet. Basic explanation. Two of the shim cards, the two shim cards are, see, one is here, and where did the other one go? Is it in here still? Oh, I found it. Okay, so two shim cards. I have two shim cards in the deck, which is cards with some type of shim steel inside that makes them magnetic. And then I have a deck of cards, these two, the magnet in my hand, and this table, bar stool, whatever it is. So let's do one thing at a time. So I'll just get rid of one of the shim cards and let's just talk about this. This card is on the top of the deck. It is marked so I can see where it is. And then I have this magnet in my hand. This magnet is, let me just take it off, is some strong magnets. I'll show you the magnet in here in a moment, but some thin, small magnets. They are 1 by 2 centimeters and they're probably 2 millimeters thick. And they're on a piece of plastic, and there's a loop of fishing line like this, and it is just around 3 of my fingers over here. I can still move my hand pretty naturally. It's just here. So I have a deck of cards. The shim is on top, and I get a card picked. So let's say a card is picked. 5 of diamonds. When it is removed from the deck, I just cut the deck. I can still sort of like swing cut a half over, just cut the deck. So when the card is put back, it is put back on top of my shim. I put the rest on top, just give them a riffle and pause for a moment. And then the control is just this Mahatma controller, right? This one. Yep. See, that's why I have Andy Gladwin here. So I just shuffle the packet to the bottom, like that. So now I have the selection on top, the shim card underneath. And I explained this thing about, oh, my hands being connected and trying to build this image up that if I blow in this hand, air will come out here. And the same if I suck here, it will, something will happen. But just by saying it, look, they're connected in a little bit weird way. So now I just pull down that card and I can shoot that out with my pinky like that. Let's just, your card with the 7 of diamonds now. So pull it down, shoot it out like this. Jumps out, I can still catch it without the magnet getting in the way. That's the card. Oh, a little bit of an effect right there. Say, let's do something else. And I just lift up, like I'm gonna do a one-handed cut like this. I just lift up, pretending to put the card in, actually just putting it on the bottom of the deck. And now the stool is in play. I just begin putting cards on the table. So the first card I put down is the shim card. And now this is pretty standard magnetic cards. I just put these cards on top so all the cards are touching the shim card, at least the first circle, and then I build outwards like this without covering this one, the middle one that has the shim, because now I can still touch that and that will lift everything up. Usually that's sliding out because it wasn't in the pile. Where everything here is now held with the magnet and my fingers. So I just do this, I place them down and then pretend like I'm doing something. Oh, and in this case, because the selection is on the bottom, I'm covering the pip so they can't see. So like that, and I just curl my fingers to let this packet drop like that. So that's how the first magnetic cards thing work. Now we get to the other shim card. This will help me move the very big magnet that is in this table, because right now I can lift this shim just by touching the table like this without lifting the table, which I just did a moment ago. But if I do this, let's see, there we go, I can lift the table. And it is because in here, just do this, remove these. In this table, stool, whatever you want to call it, there's a slide, like a little cardboard tunnel, where there's a very strong magnet that can move back and forth like this. So when I start, the tunnel is closest to me like this. So right now, the magnet is right here. Right here, there's a magnet. And it's very strong. See, I'm stuck. There we go. And the magnet that's in that, I have an extra one, looks like this. It's so you can see the size compared to the cards. What is this? 2 centimeters times 5 centimeters? Something like that. Very strong and thick. So that is in the table. So how I lift the table is the shim cards, one starts on top, one starts 15 cards in. Sort of, approximately, like that. So do the whole thing, card is picked, put on top, and I just cut more than those 15. Same thing, do the whole thing, shoot this out, put this in. So now when these are put on, there's no magnet here. I put the first cards on, and I stop, again, approximately 15 cards down, stop when I see my mark on my shim. So I do this effect first. There we go, those fall down. And I want to build it up. I'm like, oh, let's do this. And I take this shim card and hold the stool. And if I drag this forward, I am then stealing the magnet from here and sliding it into the middle of the table. And then that happens. So I put this down so it's not gonna shoot back like it just did. Put it down, and then I just keep adding cards around, not in the center, because if I put this block of cards here, I can't lift it. So I put them around here. And at one point, I am holding the cards and I'm just copying that card. So shooting it back into my hand, copying the selection as I'm just laying the cards down like that. Now putting my hand in the center without making that big of a noise. I am just slowly pulling my hand. Now I can feel the table pulling on my magnet, so I'm just slowing down. And now this hand goes up, pretending again to like, I'm sucking through my body and the table and whatever, hiding this card. I just lift the table and again open my fingers so it looks magical. And just again, curling my fingers, pushing it away, will make it drop. And depending on high up, it'll fall over or something like that. And then I produce the card like it was pulled through my arms, produce the card over here and like, oh, is this your card? And I'm sure this is the card because it doesn't matter because this is the explanation. So that's pretty much it on the magnetic cards. And I just take this off, put in my pocket. That's pretty much it. I really like magnetic cards, and I think this gives it a finish. Like, because it even if it's not this whole thing of going through my body or whatever it is, if it's just, look, I'm magnetic, it feels cool if you could just do that with everything you touched, like whoops. And so doing it to the table or stool I'm performing with just seemed natural to me. I've built this myself, so it is very light. It is so it's not that heavy. It's very thin wood, thin poles, and I've then painted it in a color. I think, see, it almost looks the same as my other real bar stool, and I think I could make this work with a heavier table or heavier stool like this. And you could also make this lighter by cutting some of these away. Maybe I could take this one and this one away and this one and this one away. Like here, there's not a pole on each side. So, and again, just getting a bigger magnet, I think it could work. But I've made this here, so it was light, and I've made another table that I can take apart for traveling, so I can unscrew everything, put it together when I need to perform. And I can use this as a little table or a bar stool as I would normally, and then go into this effect. And before we talked about openers, this here is definitely not an opener. This is what I would consider like a middle thing. It's not a closer, it's not an opener. It is. I don't want to say it's like filling, or it's like, oh, it's there to take up time, because I'm not a big fan of, oh, that is just so I can get 10 minutes. You're just filling up time. I hate when people have that attitude towards, oh, I just need an extra 5. Yeah, then write an extra 5. Then actually do something instead of just, I need more time, and then do something that's not as great as the other stuff. So I don't want to say it's like filling, but it's not a closer, it's not an opening. This is just a very fine trick to have in the middle. It could be a closer in the right setting. Again, if you did this in a parlor show, maybe, and built it up really, really big. But again, it's not a closer, not an opener. And stuff like this is, of course, what the show is made out of. You need impressive stuff like a card trick that turns into a sort of like floating stool. So we talked about openers, middle tricks. Let's talk about closers for a bit. But before that, let me just explain the box over here. So box over here, there's cards everywhere like this. So this box is usually, oh, it's the end of the masterclass. No, it's not. But this box is something I sometimes use in smaller shows where everything can fit in this box, because again, it gives me an easy thing that can then be continued and I can come back to. But it's 2 changes of this box. This box from IKEA. It can fold flat. Very practical. So it has 2 changes. One is better than the other one, but just want to show you anyway. So maybe you will build something similar. I'm a big fan of the idea of writing on your props, like, oh, this is the cards, this is other stuff, this is this. Maybe it's because of my character, the way I feel like my character is like, you can look at my character and be like, he probably has his name in all his shirts and the days he needs to wear the socks or whatever, underwear. And that's how I like to keep my props, having my name on it or writing what is in here. So this started with, so the flap is in here, I'll show you how it works. This started just being like, oh, I like, in a show I did, having what the prop was on it. So it's a box, I would hand somebody an envelope, it would say envelope. And then when I open it, oh, inside the box there's cards. And then I would pull out cards, and later it would say the next prop. Now I've just changed it so it says other stuff. And then at the end it would change one more time to say the end, like that. So the way the changes are happening is one is in the lid, which is the best one, because it's very practical. So this can go on top here, and when it's closed, there's magnets, of course, in all the sides here, so I can show it. And I think, whoops, the magnet got loose since this is not closing down all the way. So I can show it, I can then turn it around, it says cards. And when I lift this up, I just don't lift it like this, whoops, where it will show that flap. I'm sort of lifting a little bit forward like this, so it will fall in as this is being lifted. And again, magnets will hold that in here. I take out my cards, and then I am ready to say, oh, I also have other stuff. I probably wouldn't do that immediately, but I can. And then the next change is just sort of like black art, even though I'm not using it with a black table ever. This is just a black piece of cardboard that's on the back of this one that falls off. So usually I can, as I'm in the box, I can just, when I lift this up, I can hold it to the side like this. So when the audience is in front of me and I'm maybe on a bigger table, I wouldn't do it on top of the cards. I can just flip this down and all my angles are covered, and I can sort of just move it back over, take up the next prop, put this here, and whenever I want to, I can get back to this, turn it around, still on top of that, and then black art is not really needed because they're not looking there. It just needs to be a dark surface, or because of the lighting in the show, that can work even on here if it's just a dark brown stool. So yeah, there's just something I wanted to show you. So in context, it's better, but this was just to throw it in. Okay, so let me find some other props and I'll show you something else. Okay. So for this next trick, random person in the audience, Andy, do you have a ring I can borrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't set this up at all. Andy, because I don't just want to like borrow your ring, so without giving you anything in like collateral, so you can hold on to this rubber duck, and I'm gonna hold on to your very nice ring with a fake stone. And how long have you had the ring? It's because it has a ring, it has a stone.
2 minutes.
2 minutes because I gave you it beforehand. Okay, so let's do this here. Okay, watch this. And the ring disappears, completely gone. But Andy, you've been holding that duck the whole time. And just stand up, open the duck. You can take the head off and show what's inside. What's inside, Andy? What's inside? We'll just take the whole this one with this one. What's inside?
Some money.
$20. Oh, so we even, right? Here you go.
Sure.
Thank you for your help. Thank you. So, thank you so much. Yeah, nice. So how about a card trick then? Let's do. So, okay. Want to see a card? Okay, maybe not. Okay. So that's fine. Can we? Okay, you don't want to. Okay.
How about the ring?
The ring. I'll show you a card trick. No, Andy, I have something to show you. I'll have something here. Look. I have something I would like to show you here. Get this here, it's stuck. How about like this maybe? Like this. Okay, look at this. I have here a box, and look inside this box. Look inside this box. I have another box, and I have another box inside. But inside this box, I have another box, Andy. There's another box inside this box. So, but inside this box, there's another box inside this box. And then there's another box inside this box here. I have another box inside this box here. But inside this box, Andy, exciting, with rubber bands around it, securing it. Inside here is a rubber duck, Andy, a rubber duck. So, but inside this rubber duck, inside here, there is $20. Okay, so we're even, right? 40, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. No, Andy, but inside here, look. Inside here. Right there on the ring, on the string. Is that your ring? Is that your ring?
Yeah.
Yes. Tied to the string inside the duck. Look, I will just untie this, and you can buy this for $40.
Good deal.
Yeah. Here you go.
Thank you.
It's fake. Okay, yes, more tricks. This was a nest of boxes. You've seen it before. I'll just talk you through what I've made. And also this, again, if we're talking about closers and openers and stuff like this is a great closer. I love this trick. So I have a few small details on it, and then you can just enjoy me putting the boxes in the boxes. So I really love nest of boxes, but not only nest of boxes, like anything that is too much. Like if you have a lot of something, it just instantly is funny. If a dog, I don't have a dog, but if a dog shit on the floor, not funny. But if there's shit everywhere, really funny. Because like, how did the dog do that? Huh. It's a bad example, but that's something I think about. Like something that is not funny or even good, but having a lot of it makes it funny. And an object that appears inside a box, not that great, but in many boxes, amazing. So this is my nest of boxes. I've made the boxes, and I've made this, and the duck thing is actually why I'm doing this. I love this bit. So we have another duck over here. Okay. So the two ducks make sense. Just again, I am Mortenn with two ducks. So I start with one duck, and in this duck I just place whatever. Like now $20 was the only thing I had that was not Danish kroner, because I want to be international, so I put in some other currency. But I would usually have 50 Danish kroner in here, which is just around $10. So Andy got a good deal. So put 50 kroner, $10, whatever, in this duck, and this is just a rubber duck. I cut the head off, and this, now it actually came out. This is the top of a soap bubble dispenser, which was glued in here, so it looks like it screws on, like this, like that. So money in this, and this was also a great way for me to borrow a ring, because I really feel like it's a very personal thing to borrow a ring from somebody. Before this, I would never borrow money or rings and stuff like that, because I don't want the responsibility of having something that valuable. And also, usually the trick is it's gone and you don't know where it's you don't know where it's going. Where if I've given them something, even something that's this dumb, I have invested myself in them. Like we've traded. You can have this for the end and stuff like that. It's just a really nice way for me to give them something to hold on to. And it could be anything. It could be I would feel comfortable like, here, I can borrow your ring and you can hold my wallet. I think that is equally as interesting, even if the wallet is not part of the trick. It doesn't have a callback to it. This does. So a person is holding that the whole time, And this is set up with another duck in here. Whoops. So this thing, oh, it's really hot in here. That's been a problem all day. We're really sweating. So, okay, so just me and Andy Gladwin sweating in my apartment. Yeah, got weird, but
I'm leaving.
yeah, no stay. So this here is the detail I'm most happy with, because it's doing nest of boxes. Usually the smallest box is of course also a little bit smaller, where my smallest box is the duck, and you would pull the ring out, or you would have them pull out the ring. But showing a ring to somebody like this, so like inside here, is this your ring? It's too small, and you're still holding it. You could just be switching. Oh, is this your ring? Like, which is a method. You would just load it in at the last second. But having it dangling, tied to a string, that is just beautiful. A beautiful way to show this. Like, I'm not touching it. It just falls out and it's hanging on this, and they can check it before I'm touching it. So the way this works is magnets. So this here is a piece of shoelace that is just glued in the duck, and down here there's a strong magnet just folded in the shoelace. I've then sewn it around the shoelace like this, and then given it like a little loop. So it's, in theory, when the rest of this gimmick, it sort of looked like a bow, maybe, if people are not paying attention. And this is again small magnet. I have one on my mic stand where all the magnets are. So it's one of these. So you can see it without. So what is this, like a centimeter circle magnet? Just sewn in here. Very, very, very strong. There we go. So that is put inside the duck first, and then I just fold the rest of the string inside, and then I place in the money. Let me just get some money. There we go. And so some money, I just fold this in half again, and then sort of bend it in a little bit of an L, stick that in. So some of it is sticking out before. When the head is pulled off, the head goes in like this, and there's a slit in the back like that. So that's where the ring is going inside, and I'm using standard method. I'm using a slide. This is my slide. This is a cable tunnel or something like that, which I've just opened one end. This goes in the duck. So, and then the rest of this goes around like this. So classic method. This goes in here, closes here, and I put rubber bands around. And that is just because the duck is a little bit taller than the inside of the box, and also looks more impressive. I've seen people having elastics around every box. I think that is too much. But I think here it makes, on one of them it looks fine, like this at the end. So this one goes in here, and you can see the opening is same direction. So there's just, the tunnel can just go all the way through. And when you look at it this way, it's not that magical. So, but like this. Like that. There we go. And then I tie a ribbon around, again, just to make it feel like it is even more secure. So I just have a long ribbon. I think this is like, what is this? That's 2 meters and 3.5. Yep. You don't know. So on top, go around. There we go. Goes around just beside the tunnel, and I tie a bow. This is so it looks nice, and again, one more layer of protection. And then also I can lift it. I lift it in both pieces, both directions of the string, and then it goes in my IKEA bag. And this is the big IKEA bag. I had one, but I must have thrown it out by mistake because this is very wide. It's too wide. This looks bad. I had one which I had cut and then sewn together, so it was a little bit smaller, but it's fine. So this go inside here to the one side, like that. So I think it's a little bit too big. If it was just like that, would look better. And then it is not on here, which it does not need to be, but usually I have a string. That is why on this cable tunnel there's some Velcro, but usually I would have another piece of Velcro I could stick that to that holds this in the bag. So there's a string on the bottom that will hold this in the bag so it won't fall out. So this is set. And again, I feel like this is a closer or towards the end of the show. So this would either, depending on the show, I would walk in with it, with my ducks still, with the ducks, and then set it down, or it would just be to the side of the stage. And then when I do the trick, this is what happens. So I have flash paper. Okay, flash paper. And my little gimmick, and a lighter. So I place a lighter in my pocket. I take a piece of flash paper, fold it a couple of times like this, here, and this is in another pocket. And this little piece, it's a piece of plastic that's bent, and it has this is not a magnet. Yeah, maybe this is a magnet. I had another one which is just a piece of metal that will attract to the magnet. It's a folded piece of plastic covered in the same piece of shoelace. I've bent around, so it's sort of like a little hook clip that can clip onto this, like this. Because I just wanted to be very, sort of like doing a ring flight, having just this small thing, you just borrow a ring and you're like, oh, that's nice, and it's clipped on. This, of course, is heavily inspired by the work of Richard Sanders and other people with the ring on shoelace, having a little string tied to it. But this is not a close-up trick, so having something that is stiff is fine. And because it's so easy to load. I've never been a big fan of the load of the string that you have to do for that, and I don't have to because of this. So that's it, that's on here. This is in my pocket, a place I can get to it, and then I borrow this ring. This is just a cheap ring we have to practice with. That is why Andy sold me it so cheap. So I bring out the duck after I ask him usually. So I say, hey, can I borrow your ring? And before they give it to me, I'm like, no, I want to make sure that it's fair, whatever, collateral, whatever, you can hold on to this. So I give them a duck. And they will laugh and it's weird. But again, just giving them something really helps this. And I love the joke that comes after this. So maybe again, give them another animal. Doesn't have to be ducks. Make up your own. Okay, so I borrow the ring. And at this point, when I get the duck, I would usually have either palmed the flash paper from my pocket beforehand, or maybe from my case or whatever, I would have the flash paper in the same hand. So I'm hiding the gimmick in this hand, and I'm holding flash paper and the duck in this hand. He gets the duck, get the ring, he holds this, and I just look at it. I make a note of how it looks like as I'm clipping this gimmick on it here. I can put it on my finger like that, so I'm not really touching it. And then this has to disappear. And I played around with doing like a thimble vanish like that. That works fine because I can clip it on my finger like that and then just pretend to take it off like that. But what I usually do is just holding it here. And when I'm holding it, I'm not holding it at my fingertips like this, like so they see all of it, like, oh, it's so beautiful. I hold it very close like this so they can only see flashes of it. Because in a moment, when it's over here, they can't see it at all. So I'm just not showing that much of it. So at one point, again, the mic stand is a great motivation for moving my hands. So I false transferred, very casual false transfer over here just hide it. Maybe my hand is going towards this as I ask him, so is this important to you? Or how long have you had it? Or do you like the ring? And I would usually comment on my duck and be like, oh, I've had my duck for this long. Or I'm also really, I want my duck back or whatever, something. And I will look at the ring and comment something like, oh, is this real silver or whatever? Now that it's not here, I'll just pretend like I'm looking at it. And then I will go in my pocket, leave everything, pull out the lighter. And now I just have to make this disappear, do that, disappears. I'm like, it's gone. I put the lighter somewhere else, usually not the same pocket because I don't want them to immediately go to that pocket. And that's an interesting moment because it looks, lay people love flash paper. No, everybody loves flash paper and it looks great. So standing like that, like, ooh, it's really great. And then sometimes they will mention it or I will be like, it's gone. And they will mention the duck. Otherwise I'll be like, it's gone. And you've been holding that duck the whole time. And it really gets this good reaction of, because if that's the trick, that's a good trick. And I would admit that is better than what I'm showing. If I could give him a duck, borrow a ring, make the ring appear in the duck, much better trick. But I can't. So he's gonna open the duck, suspense. Oh, it's amazing. He opens the duck, I say, open the duck and tell everybody what's inside. And I didn't place anything in here, but he will pull out whatever, 50 kroner, $10. And he'll be like, $10. I'm like, yeah, so we're even, right? You can keep that, okay, it's fine. And then usually I would just, I would joke like, oh, that's it. And then I would do a card trick. I wouldn't go to the boxes immediately. I just did that because we're filming a masterclass. So it made sense to do the trick. Okay, so, and because I'm waiting, I want them not to really forget about it, but I want it to be, it's not, because it's too obvious borrowing something like, can I borrow this? And then it's gone. Oh, let's have a look in these boxes. It's too obvious that it's in there. And I want them not to think it's in there. I want this to be something they don't expect. So when they see the other duck, they're surprised. So I do tricks in between, and because I've given him money, or her, I've given her money, and she still has my duck, I think people are a little bit more calm. They know that's clearly a joke. That, oh, I'm getting back to it. It's not just gone forever. Oh, you'll never see that again. She has something. So I can wait before showing the actual boxes. So when I then do that, I stick my hand in my pocket and I palm the little gimmick. Just hold it in my hand. And depending on what the situation is, I'm like, oh, I want to show you something, or I bought something, or whatever. And again, they should not be thinking of the ring at this point. So I go over here towards my IKEA net, like this. I show it like this. I just hold this in my right hand. I can pick it up with the same hand, depends on the situation. And I have this stool to help me, but usually I would, so the tunnel is here. So I would, with the hand that has the ring, I would go inside and just put the ring in the tunnel. So I put the ring in the tunnel, now let it slide down. And my hand continues underneath the box like I'm trying to lift the box with one hand this way. And in that way, I'm tilting the box, making sure the ring is sliding down. And then like, oh, it's difficult to get this way. Then I'm changing. This hand now looks empty because it is. So I'm putting it on the stool, or if I don't have a stool, I'm just holding it, and then grabbing it by the bow, like this. And then if I had a string on here, I could easily just grab this and pull away, but now I will grab through the bag. I'm grabbing the tunnel like this, as this is just coming away. I'm holding that, but if it was on a string, I could just let it go. That goes away, and this sits here, and now everything should be loaded. So I show, look, I have a box, and look, I just untie this, like this. Inside this box, and I love the buildup of this, because they will expect the boxes throughout, so then I just change the moment a little bit. So inside here is another box. And then they will begin to expect, oh, more boxes. Inside here there's a box. I close this and put this on top. Inside here, there's another box. close this again. And now that they're a little bit smaller, I can actually hold them in my hand. And inside here, there's another box. I turn this over, put this here, and inside here, there's another box. And inside here, there's another box like this. So it just keeps building. And one of the things I really like about this, it becomes more impossible, but it's almost, and I create something like really big. It looks big, it feels big, but it's also a trick that becomes really, really big, but also really, really small. It's like we are focusing in, we're like zooming in on what's important. And now this is the box. So I'm like, one more box with the elastics around it like this, inside this box. And maybe I'll get them to say, inside here, they think it's a box. Inside here, there is a rubber duck. Like, and I pull it out, set this up here, and I'll look at the person like, a rubber duck. And they know where it's going. And that is why I have this extra bill, the extra note inside to like, they know the ring is inside here. So when I do this, inside the duck, $20 more. It's a really nice moment to establish dominance. That they don't know where I'm going, because they really think it's in here. So I'm giving them one more surprise before, and then actually it is inside. So I shake this, and because it's been turned around all this time, the ring should have, with the magnet, found each other. So I can just dump this out, and it will look like it is tied on here. I can even hold it on this end and say, is this your ring? Yes. Just bunch up this, and I just unhook it from the little clip, but pretend like I'm untying something. I'm like, one ring, and you can now buy this for that amount of money, which is also a great way for me to get my duck and my money back. Because otherwise, if I just said, yes, that's yours, I will forget I've given the money. Oh, no, I will not forget, but maybe they will. So give them the ring back. This is just here, and that is pretty much it. I think this is a great closer, something that really builds. It has, if I did the duck early in the show, it has a callback, which is a great way to close. I think closers should be, first of all, impressive, and then feel big. And I work comedy clubs, I work with not that big props. If you don't think about the plexiglass card thing I did last week. I usually don't have that big props because I have to carry it with me. And this is not in every comedy club I would do this. Because I need to put in a big box and stuff like that. And usually this should be one box bigger, but it broke, and I built all of them myself and painted them. And so it's a pain to make, but yeah, I want this to be as big as it can, which is a great closer to have it feel very big, and it does because I'm doing smaller stuff. It has a callback in it, and it's with a personal thing, so this is a really good closer. So that's how I think you should choose a closing trick, not just a trick you like and feel like it's the best, actually the thing that is that fits. Because I have done tricks and shows where where I know this is the most impressive thing, but that is not what the audience is telling me. So I have to do it the other way around. When I did a lot of sword swallowing and stuff like that, other sideshow stuff, I knew what was the most difficult stunt, but that was not the one that they loved the most or made sense being the last trick I did. So it's all about making it feel like it's the right trick for you and the audience. And Nest of Boxes really is that trick for me. It's not something I close on all the time, but if I do a magic show, like where it's all magic, this is probably the best trick, in my opinion. So Nest of Boxes. One more time. I'll find something else. Look at this. So here's another idea for a Nest of Boxes. So this has been here the whole time, sort of like the IKEA bag. I say, so the ring has gone, all that stuff. So here's a box, and it is a cardboard box, and inside here, I have an old TV, like this, an old TV, and inside here I have a globe like this. Look inside here, and inside here I have a box like a Jack in the Box thing. It's fine. And inside here I have there's a duck, there's a rubber duck, there's a duck inside, and inside the duck there's whatever, $20 and a ring. So, another version of Nest of Boxes, this I just call Nest of Things. So, this is something I've done. You can watch a performance in my show on YouTube. I've made a show, it's called Mortens Aften, which means Morten's Evening, so Morten's A-F-T-E-N, Morten's Aften, Morten's Evening, which is a show. This is in the show. Borrowing is exactly the same as the Nest of Boxes. I borrow a ring, give her the duck, make it disappear, and then later in the show, I open up this box and it's just crap. But this is an old idea I had. I thought, because the problem with the Nest of Boxes, not really a problem, but one thing to keep in mind with Nest of Boxes is when you open the box, they will know it's another box. And that's what I try and play with that, the idea of, oh, another box, and inside here, another box. But here, they're constantly surprised because it does not make sense. There's all this stuff inside, other stuff. So there's something I really like this idea of just crap. And then the duck made sense that is, oh, there's something here, there's this and this and this and this and this, and then there's a duck. And how I made this is not really that clever. It's sort of like the Nest of Boxes. There's just the tunnel, same tunnel, going through. So I'll show you how I set it up. This is beginning to be a mess, and Vanishing, they're gonna leave and not help me clean. So there's, and I ruined my pants for them. Earlier, like, look, my pants. It was because I took down my mirror because it was gonna shine, and then it's in my bedroom, and then I walked past it, and it cut my pants open. These pants are really expensive, so I'm getting sidetracked. So let's get the tunnel. So here, the tunnel is here. Same setup. The duck is here. Magnet goes inside. This is folded in. I put in the money. This goes in here. This goes in here. So this one now goes in this one. Whoops, the box. And what is this just called a Jack in the Box or something like that? Okay, it is. Okay, good. So this, I just took one of these and I ruined it. I pulled out the little puppet and I put the spring. This is the actual spring. I just put that in an old sock and tied that off, so I still have the pop out action. And the way this is done, it looks like a mess inside. If you can see that inside here, I've just cut a hole in this here. You can see from this side. I've just cut a hole through that, and there were sparks flying everywhere. This was really scary. And the easiest way to cover that, again, this is a stage trick. I've just printed out a barcode, and this is sort of a little hinge. So, not that clever. This is inside here. The duck goes there. The duck goes in. Tunnel goes through that hole, and the duck sits inside there. This is closed, and then make sure, end of the song. This goes in the globe like this. And this is just a globe I've cut in half, and I've then glued these portions. I've cut this in half, put in a little a thing that will allow me to break it open, and then magnets. So this goes in here. This go up here. That is now set. This goes in the TV. The TV, on the back of the TV, you can see there's all these openings and stuff. So I just made that opening. But again, if you're looking at it, this is for the whatever cords and stuff and buttons. I just made that one. nobody's seeing it that close. Oops. This goes inside here, so I can poke that through that there. You can see that's standing in there. And now it goes in here. Just, can I set this here? Yep. And the screen. This, again, cut the TV open, pulled out all the TV stuff from this old TV. That looks really scary. All this stuff that's inside, I'm sure it's all poisonous. If you break it open and stuff like that. So the screen, this is a piece of thin plastic. I've laminated, so it's a thin piece of black cardboard, and I've laminated. So it looks pretty good, like a screen. And this is just on here, sort of still fits like that. And then all of this goes in this box. And because of the slide, this is difficult to get in. So what I've done, I've opened this side with Velcro like this. So now I can grab the whole TV. There's a hole in the back of the box right there. So when this goes in, I can put it in like this, and the slide goes through that hole right there. And now that it's in, this is just closed up like that. Okay, it's set. The slide is coming out of the back like that, and the cloth here that is over the box, because this would be on the stage the whole time. We're still sweating, me and Andy. We're still sweating. It's really hot in Denmark right now. Me and Andy sweating in an apartment in Denmark. It's going to be the title of this masterclass. And I requested Andy was like coming. I didn't want to hang out with Josh J. That's not as fun. Sweating with Josh J. So, like this. And on this cloth there's a piece of Velcro that is, why there's Velcro on this. This just sticks to it like that. Okay? So this is covered. And I would just have this to the side as per usual. Do the whole thing. Borrow a ring. Did I knock it down like that? Borrow the ring, make it disappear. Then when I go for the box, just hold this behind. Go over here, dump the ring in as I'm lifting this up, placing it on the stool. See, I'm not sure if it went all the way inside. I think it did. You just shake. And then I pull this away and pull the slide out, and that is now hanging in here. Because of the Velcro, this can just be folded up and tossed away like that. I say I have this box. Inside this box, I have a TV. I fake that it's heavy. It's not heavy. Like, I have this old TV. You can set that down. Do a joke about this old TV. This is my actual TV from when I was 12. Okay, it's not, but it's. I had one that matched this one. I bought this very cheap a few years ago to ruin it. So then I open the screen and say, look inside, and I just dump this stuff all over the stage. This looks really nice. Just look, there's an old TV, and there's this open here, like inside here. And they'll keep getting surprised of all this weird stuff inside here. And again, yeah, still scares me. And then the duck, and again, same thing, duck, and then shake this around. That's 50 krona or whatever. The ring inside, ba-da-da-da. So that is my idea for another nest of boxes. And again, to be clear, this is not so you should go and do this. Most of this, again, in my masterclass, you're allowed to build everything. Everything I've shown. If you see something on video I haven't explained, please don't do it. But all this you can do. This is just to inspire you to make something that's not boxes. This was just 5 things I thought was funny. So I started with, I wanted a nest of boxes that is as big as like a cardboard, like moving box. I'm like, okay, what could fit inside? What could perfectly fit inside? And I thought, an old TV, that's also a weird thing to show. And then what could fit inside that? And then I just, every time I saw cool stuff, I put it on a list and or like saved it in my Amazon account, like wish list. Oh, that's a fun thing. That's a fun thing. And then I had an old Jack in the Box because I am basically a kid inside. I think it's so fun. And I get scared every time, but I really enjoy it. And so I just had one. I bought one. I was 23 when I bought it. I just bought one because, oh, that's so fun. And then when I found out that's going to be one of the items, I bought another one because I didn't want to ruin the one I had. They're exactly the same. I didn't buy a nicer one. It's the same. Okay. And then I knew I wanted a rubber duck to be the last thing. So you could make this any 5 objects, 3 objects. And clearly it's not difficult. I just made either a hole in it, or this is like the standard nest of boxes. It's just a little bit open and it can close by itself, or there's a hole in this, and this and that and this. So just to show you that you can also do nest of things. Okay. Okay. I'm back. I keep leaving because then we can edit. Yeah, okay. Then it's been a while since we were here last, but you don't know, so. That's why I don't like forcing. It seems dishonest. That's why I'm telling you the truth. Good. Okay. Yeah, the truth is whenever I leave, we can cut, and so I've made many mistakes. Yes. Okay. So, what I've tried to do in this masterclass, and really everything I've shown and every time I lecture, I'm willing to share a lot of ideas because I've learned because people shared. I work in a magic shop. I've seen all magic the last 15 years because I'm interested. I soak it up like a sponge. I'm so interested. That's why I can, like, I know where I'm inspired from because I've seen so much. I buy a lot of books and DVDs when that was a thing to just soak up ideas, get inspired. And I will never really perform anything on stage that's not my own. Like 99% of all the stuff I perform is my stuff. There's that 1% where there's still stuff that is interesting enough that I'm going to change it and use. But I will just do my own stuff. And that's why I'm trying to encourage you guys to do that. Be inspired. Learn from this 27-year-old weirdo that has made some stuff that works for me sometimes. And not just take what I've done. You can, and that's fine. But I really encourage you to look at your own stuff and try. And that's why I don't like filler stuff that is just there to take up time. Whenever I see a product which is like, oh, buy this and you get 7-8 new minutes in your stand-up show, I get what they're selling, and I've bought those tricks to be inspired, to learn from. But that's not what I want. I don't want it to be, oh, now I have an act because I bought 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If I don't have my 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes of original material, I'm just not going to perform. And that's why I perform a lot on open mics and comedy clubs where, oh, if you just have 3 new minutes, you can do your 3 minutes. And then longer and longer and longer. A big problem I find is people wanting to be performers that really shouldn't be performers, but they bought tricks and they want the attention, they want to be cool, take credit for something they didn't really make. And I get why that's interesting. It's just not my sort of thing. I really feel dirty if I'm doing other people's material. Even if I'm allowed to, I've bought it. I can't do it. It's not for me getting that applause or feedback for something I didn't create. Just my opinion, just how I think about it. So I encourage people to make their own stuff. And the way I keep track of all my stuff, the way I put stuff together here's some of this. Here are my notes. I usually carry like notebooks like this. That is smaller, but not pocket small, but smaller notebooks I can throw in my bag. It is usually always a paperback black notebook that has just blank pages. I can make notes on. So here's just a note. This is a nest of things. So the way I make the notes, I give it a name, put in what I need for it. The slide, the method is a slide here. So the method, what is the general trick? Some of the inspiration, so I know how to get back to it, and then the drawing that will get me back to what that'll instantly make me remember what is the trick I have here. So this is where I put in stuff that is close enough to be like done. Maybe not on stage, but I know I want to do a nest of things. So I put that in here, and so I keep those, and then I have just a big pad of paper where I can just open it anywhere, make a note, and this is when I'm sitting and working on stuff that day. Right here, this is the set list of the masterclass I've been working on for just the last few days. Here are the things I wanted to show. Just a quick where's everything in this structure. So this is where these are not important notes. These are notes I use when I am actually working, and I can get back to that when I need to. So a thing I do in the notes, which is which I when I sit down and do it, I draw this, which I'll try and show on this. So I give my tricks. So I make the list of tricks if I'm going to do a show, or in this case, the masterclass. Maybe I should just look here. So I have it. So I give them numbers because it's easier to write than writing the names. So here I would make a line. There we go. Oh, all this sweating. Ugh. So make a line. So imagine this is like 1% in the show, like this, 1%, and this is 100% through the show. And this is where I would decide where a piece fits in. So let's say I do the Kit Kat and chips bag thing. I would then, so in this case, let's say on my list of props, that is trick number 1. I would put that on here and be like, okay, I think that could fit like very early in the show, and maybe only that early. It needs to be early, it doesn't fit any later. And then I would put in a trick like, let's do the nest of boxes. Let's do nest of boxes. Let's see, again, on my list, let's say nest of boxes in number 2. So I'm writing the number instead of writing the name. And I feel like, okay, that could be a closer, and it could actually go maybe like right before the middle of the show. It could fit anywhere in here. And the same thing, I go through, let's do magnetic cards. I'm like, okay, that could sort of close, it could not open, it's good in the middle. So I would say nest of boxes, that's the third, and then I would know the magnetic cards. I'll be like, okay, that could fit maybe, I don't know, 20% in the show, and maybe just there. And I keep doing this with all my tricks in the little set list I have. Anything else we can put on here? The force list I used to vomit a Lego brick in the last masterclass. Okay, that is, again, let's call that trick 4. Okay, that maybe fits something that could go a little bit early and not too late. So this is where the tricks fit in the show. And I keep doing this with the tricks I want to do, I want to feel is interesting. And in this way I can clearly see the natural order just from my feelings, just what I feel. What is the natural closer? What is the natural opener? And in this case, there's only one trick I feel could open in this case, and that would be the chips and Kit Kat thing. And then because they're overlapping, these could be swapped, but there's only one I feel I could close, and that would be the nest of boxes. So these two could be switched, and that's it. So the order would be the chips, the magnetic cards maybe, the force list, and then the nest of boxes. So this is how I write it out, feels what's natural. And also, of course, I'm considering what is going before and after this. If I'm doing a trick where I'm using the same prop and I'm considering, oh, that should go before that should go before this, or for example, if I'm doing something with the bar stool, like the magnetic cards, oh, then I need to go before other stuff because I'm moving it or whatever. So I'm taking all this into consideration to then find out where does pieces fit in the show. And again, usually I do this in my pad, where when I have the list here of stuff, I just give them a number, do it at the bottom, and then try and work out what is the correct order for my show. Another thing I do, so again, when you have a show, or just again the 3 minutes, 6 minute, whatever it is, on an open mic. But if it's multiple jokes, if it's multiple tricks or whatever, I also write them down on playing cards, like flashcards. Just because we always have cards, so I just write on the back of the cards the name of the trick, and I do that and have maybe a handful of cards. And I can then mix them up and I can place them down on the table in different orders and see, okay, which trick would fit here and here, and I can swap them around. That's also a thing I do a lot when structuring a show, to find out what is the best closer, what is the best opener, and what goes in between. And if a trick is not good enough, I just don't do it. I don't want filler in my show. It should all be good material. So a little bit about how to structure, how I at least do it. Again, none of this is me telling you how to do it. This is just what has been working for me, the way I take the notes, the way I put stuff together. The show you saw in the last masterclass, those tricks were chosen because that was some of the stuff I wanted to show. It was some stuff I was comfortable with on the night. And we cut stuff away that we're not going to use for the masterclass, but I just like doing. And again, finding out which order did that fit in. And in that case, I chose to close with a swords rolling bit. That was just because I was comfortable with that, and I didn't feel like the bit with the Lego brick was strong enough to close that little set. So, and I did the same thing. I wrote it out like, okay, which piece would fit. So, yeah, a little bit about how to structure your show, in my opinion. See, now I'm going to go out and we're probably going to edit again. It's going to be really fun. Other stuff time. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about last week about like some of the stand-up stuff I'm doing. We've talked about a little bit of how I structure a show, what I think about openers, close, and all that stuff. Now I just have some ideas, and I'm going to show, I think, 2 of them. We're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about them, I'm going to talk about them. But next week there's the Q&A, which you should join if you're watching this live, or, you know, in October 2023 when we're doing it. You should join live the Q&A and ask questions everything I've shown, and ask questions if you've seen stuff I've done on whatever, YouTube, Instagram, if I've shown you something at the convention, ask a question, because maybe we can talk about it. It's going to be so much fun. Now, some ideas. Andy, I have here, this is a prediction of something. So just hold the prediction, okay. Maybe put it down somewhere so you know I'm not touching it. And Andy, I have a deck of cards. A deck of cards, yeah, you can stand up here. Okay, good. So, deck of cards, all different, really?
Yep.
All different, okay. So, Andy, you can pick any card you want, okay? That one, are you sure? Because right now, you can change your mind.
No, I'm happy with this.
Okay.
This is good.
Have a look at the card. Show the card to everybody. Okay?
Okay.
And then put the card back anywhere you want.
Right
Does
now.
not matter. Shuffle the cards, Andy. Shuffle the cards. I don't want to have anything to do with the cards. You're gonna do everything. Oh, that's nice. That's why I didn't want to do it.
I'm good at this.
And just take the box. Put the cards in the box.
Okay.
And put them in your pocket. See, you did everything. You picked the card. You have the cards. Can I have the prediction? Because you've been holding on to you had it. I didn't, and you have the cards.
Yeah.
Inside here, there is an old cassette player with a cassette tape inside. So if I close this and I press play,
Somebody will pick a card, and they can change their mind, but I'm pretty sure the card they will pick is the 8 of clubs.
Yeah.
The 8 of clubs, that's my best guess.
Yeah, clubs.
8 of clubs. 8 of clubs. Yay! Thank you so much.
No worries, I'm keeping the card.
Yeah, you keep me first. So, yeah, that's the trick. It's an idea I've been playing with. I really love this thing. And maybe it's just because I feel like this is really retro. And I only remember them a little bit from when I was a kid. And I just think it's so... to be honest, I have no idea how this works. I think it's so interesting. And I just think this is so cool. But also... it's really interesting to have a prediction in like audio format, but not in like, oh, listen to the speakers, because anybody could fake something behind the scenes. This feels very low tech and chill, and the audio is bad, and I really love this idea. And the reason why I'm showing you as an idea and not a full thing, I have performed this, and I've performed it a few times, and I wanted to do it on stage. I think it's really funny so they know there's no extra audio. A person could be close and listening, and then playing it close to the microphone, so they can hear whatever I just recorded. Somebody will pick a card, and they can change their mind, and it's the 8 of clubs. It was the 8 of clubs. So the way it works, I think the method is really fun, but it's also a method that I'm not comfortable with, because it is using tech. I hate technology. I'm so bad at it. So what's happening is, I think it's smart and funny. What's happening is, I have my phone in this box that is inside Go Button, which is the music app thing for the show. Really good app. And I have 52 audio files of me saying, somebody will pick a card and they can change their mind, but I'm pretty sure the card will be the Ace of Spades. And I did that this morning, took about 40 minutes, recording all those files, and I imported them into Go Button, and I can play the file I want. Not through this, but inside this envelope, there's this mini Bluetooth speaker. This was a key ring. I had this idea. I was on the train. I was going back home from a gig, and I had this idea. Oh, that could be really fun if you could have like a mini speaker in something. And I Googled, and I found this. This is so cute. There was a key ring on it, and it's Bluetooth, and it's pretty good for what it is. I'm so impressed. But again, I don't do tech stuff, so you could show me anything. I still think an iPad is pretty cool. Like, oh, it's a screen I can touch, and it's so thin. You've seen my TV. It's huge. So, really cool. This is hidden in here. And then I have again, Bluetooth remote in my pocket that I'm controlling the Go Button with. It feels like a mess, and that's why I don't like it, because I am not that good with tech stuff. But what's going on? The speaker is in this envelope, bubble mailer envelope. I have some putty, Dexter's putty on the back of this. This is just in the corner here. This is a real cassette player that with just a blank tape. There's nothing on this. But if I press play, it will play that like sound, so which sounds authentic, which is a word I know. And I love this sound. It feels like, oh yeah, low tech, interesting. So this is just in here, next to the little speaker. Speaker's here. This is here. This is folded. Maybe I have a rubber band around this. Somebody is holding that. And now I have every card. Every card, any card could be named, and I can play that. But whoops, just don't fall over like this. I'm just gonna drink some water because we're sweating. It's really hot in here. Andy gets uncomfortable every time I mention me and Andy sweating in the same room. So I can play any card, but in this trick I don't really want it to be pick a card, name any card, 6 of spades, because I need some dead time. And I also like the fact that I know the card without it being named. So, Annie, can I have the cards? You have the cards, great, thank you. So this deck was in stack. Now Andy probably shuffle it a little bit. This was in a memorized stack. This could be in just ace to king, ace to king, ace to king, ace to king. It's shuffled a little bit, doesn't matter. So I give him the prediction, or somebody's holding that. They could be holding that, again, for a very long time. It's again, bringing out a prop and doing the trick immediately falls flat, in my opinion. Give it out and let it wait, and then they'll be surprised when it comes, like the nest of boxes. If you just, oh, it's gone, let's look in this box, too boring. So he's just gonna hold this, and at some point we're gonna get back to it. So I bring out the deck of cards, and he's gonna pick one. So he puts his finger down on one, and I really, like, he can change his mind as much as he like. And when he picks it, I just say, just show it around. Remember it, I'm peeking the card next to it, so I know what this is, what he picked. So I peek 5 of diamonds, that's 42 in my stack. He has 43, oh, must be the 3 of hearts. So he looks at that, he shuffles, and I just put my hand casually in my pocket and put my finger on the forward button. And I've put a little glue dot, hot glue gun on that button. So I, in my pocket, can go forward in the go button. You see, go 3, go 4, go whatever, like that. Again, this is not the best phone trick you've ever seen, but it's an idea. So as he shuffles, let's say it's whatever, it was the 8 of clubs before, 8 of clubs. So when he's shuffling, I'm just in my pocket. I'm not counting, I'm just click, 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 click. And at some point, I'm just peeking inside the case, inside my bag, wherever my phone is. I'm now at 14. That's pretty easy counting, 3 more. 1, 2, 3. I can give him the case, say, put them back, you have everything. And now, in my pocket, I can press play on the 17th card in my stack, which was the 8 of clubs as he picked the first time. And there's a delay on this. Every recording I did, I started it, held it away from my body for 10 seconds, and then somebody will pick a card. They can change their mind, it will be the card. So right now, if I press play, I have now 10 seconds, which is enough to bring this out, say, look, I have this old cassette player that has a cassette tape inside. If I place it in and just press play,
Somebody will pick a card, and they can change their mind, but I'm pretty sure the card they will pick is the 8 of clubs. The 8 of clubs, that's my best guess.
8 of clubs, press stop, and that's it. Yeah, it's, and the way I do this, of course, when I pull this out, I have those 10 seconds. And right now, again, to make this logical, right now, I could just throw this away, but I don't want to because my speaker's inside here. But I want, and I want to open this and show it to them. So I put it in this hand above the speaker. So I have the fingers and my hand free to show this. Put it back, close, and if I had a microphone, I would hold it over here. Now I have a microphone on me, so I'm holding it towards me. So the sound is coming from here, but just from here. So again, if I press, let's put it inside just to do the whole thing. Again, let's get a random card. Let's see, card number 25 in my stack is 9 of diamonds. So just press play. Say, inside here I have this old cassette player. There's tape inside, and if I just press play,
Somebody will pick a card.
and I'm not even trying hitting the the 10-second mark. I just know.
The 9 of diamonds, that's my best guess.
9 of diamonds. I just know that is 10 seconds really. I take it out, take my time, I'm not hurrying, and then when I push play, it doesn't matter if there's like 2 or 3 seconds before it starts, because you hear the little buzzing of the, which helps whenever there's a track playing, because if it's playing without this, the buzzing helps in front of the sound, because there was no weird buzzing on this. If it plays here 2, 3,
Somebody will pick a card.
this sounds
They
normal.
can change their mind.
But if I put this on top,
Sure, the card will be the 6 of hearts. The 6 of hearts, that's my best guess.
it gets that like old-timey feeling and sound of being recorded on a cassette player. So This is just an idea. I really like the audio prediction of this. And again, somebody would say you could just force a card and still have this prediction. But I like having index stuff. I like having free choices of something. So that is why I came up with this idea. So yeah, now I'm just gonna go back here again for no reason. That's just because that seems so natural. One more take. Let's do this again. Maybe you've just seen an edit or something like that. Maybe we edit when I go behind the curtain. Maybe we edit now, huh? Because we did not film this in one take. I'm sorry. Because performing for Andy Gladwin makes me really nervous and sweaty. So, so this is the 4th time we're doing this. Maybe, huh? You don't know. So here's a deck of cards. Andy, just shuffle these cards so you know that they're not in a particular order or anything, because we're going to use the blue cards instead, so I don't care about... Okay, let's just give me those. Okay, so Andy, actually it seems unfair using the blue cards, so yeah, okay, let's use the red cards for this. Let's use the red cards. Andy, just... Okay, you shuffle. I'll also shuffle the cards a little bit like this. So Andy, just name any playing card.
2 diamonds.
2 of diamonds. Watch this. 2 of diamonds. Bam! 2 of diamonds. And that's it. Again, this is just ideas. We're doing small ideas. This is one idea for a deck switch. So I switch the decks. So, this is probably the best choreography for a deck switch I found that I can do with pretty much like no setup of clothing or props. So it is done with this box of cards, and deck switches with boxes has been done for years. Again, because I work in a magic shop, pagani.com, great shop. I've seen a lot of the deck switches that's been on the market with a box. Like there was the from Vanishing the cooler, and there's whatever Shin Lim had a thing, Greg Wilson had a thing, everybody had a thing with a box. And I had some ideas with the box. I had something similar to the cooler by Christian Engblom, which is this. I actually have one just to check that it's how similar it was. And I've also used this. So it's a card box plastic thing where the top can move. It's really interesting how like that this is the method. But it also scares me a little bit. But I had something similar, which I've now made a better version of. But it's basically this. This can move. Mine is 3D printed. The edges of this, and then as a like the hinge or whatever it is, this thing that makes it go back and forth, is a piece of fabric that is in here. That is so when this was printed, there's a slit in this side and in this side, and I put a piece of white fabric inside, measured it so it is as tall as the box. And then I put in a face of this box here and a face of the box on the other side. It's a deck switch. I've used other boxes like this, all the ones on the market I've tried. This one I just like the way the choreography feels, even though there's a mistake in the movement, but we'll talk about that later. So this is just in my back pocket. It is made with a different color than the cards I'm using. I'm always using red cards, so this is a blue deck. This is in my back pocket. Because one of the problems with these type of deck switches, in my opinion, is it's really difficult getting that box into play. Christian's cooler thing, you would have to have placed on a table and then casually put your deck on top, and when something was moving, it would switch, which looked amazing and felt amazing when it was put out. But I couldn't make that handling work. Because I don't work with tables that much, and getting this into play, I wasn't good at it. So this could be done standing up, and the gimmick goes in, the gimmick goes out. Really nice way of doing a deck switch. So this deck, see now I'm confused which deck is in stack and which deck is not in stack. One of the decks are in stack. Probably not this one. Yeah, this is not in stack. So this deck is in stack, and it is hidden in the shell, which is in my back pocket, like this. So when I'm doing something on stage, parlor, close-up, whatever, I just have that in my back pocket. I'm working out of a red deck of cards. This can be in stack because I work a lot with a stack. And when somebody wants to shuffle, if they really insist on shuffling, they can, and I'm ready to do the switch, and which feels very nice to always be ready. Or for particular routines on stage where, oh, it just gets better if the deck is shuffled. So the deck is shuffled. Let me just put this down. The deck is shuffled, and then when the cards are out of my hands, I just pull this out of my pocket like this and just put it in my other hand and say, oh, because we're going to use the blue deck instead, which is a joke you've heard a million times, magician being, shuffle as much as you want because we're going to use these cards. And it's a dumb joke, but it's perfect for this because, again, as I mentioned earlier, I think every prop that is in play should have a purpose. You could have a prop just to do a joke, but if it does a joke and it does something practical, really good method. It's a great place to hide a method in something funny. So I pull this out, like shuffle the cards as much as you like. I don't care because we're going to use these cards. Place them in my left hand, which is where I usually hold the deck. Then I get this deck back in a sort of bill grip in my right hand. And now the switch is just, I'm putting this on top and pulling this through and turning this around. And the deck is switched because it went inside, lifted this out. And it looks, this was slowly of course, but it looks in real time good enough like I'm actually like rearranging stuff in my hands. Of course, if you look close enough, closer, there's a discrepancy. Was that the right way of saying that word?
Yep.
Nice. This is not my first language. I'm trying. Okay, there's a discrepancy when you see. I couldn't do that time, but it looks enough like if I get this back, I put this here and then I push through. I rotate this and grab it here. It looks enough like something is happening, like I move them around. So I'm like, oh, and I can pick it up over here, just holding this deck back and be like, oh, are you sure we can't use this? Or oh, maybe it's unfair. Okay, right. I just turn this without showing the back, so I don't put it away this way. I put it away this way. So I just put it back right where it came from. I've now switched in a stack, which I then also shuffle. I'm like, okay, let's use these cards even though you shuffled. And I'm now ready to do anything with this stack. So it's really a nice way of doing a deck switch. I just call this the in and out deck switch because it goes in, it goes out. And this gimmick does not have to be in play all the time. And I've used other shells of decks to switch cards, just covering it in a different color than the one I'm using. Feels really great. Something I've also done is having it in my pocket and then just reaching in, sort of like I'm opening the box and pulling out one blue card, which I will just have loose. Like, oh, this is a prediction. Oh, let's just use one or whatever. It's a little subtlety that was a blue deck. So this deck is switched in. The thing I did for Andy, basic mem deck stuff. He mentions a card. Do that again. Name a card.
2 diamonds.
2? Okay, then I estimate to that card, and then I just shoot it out like that. Basic mem deck stuff. But again, we're in this ideas section for my masterclass. I have an idea with this, and it's something I've done it. I feel it's really funny because also because I like working when I'm working. Maybe that's just me, but that's why I do a lot of mem deck. Just name a card. We're having fun. And then actually estimating, doing stuff. So here's something I like to do. Doing, what's it called? A multiple selection. Multiple selection like this. So the deck that is in stack, of course, starts in here. Let's just go from that. That is in here. And now do multiple selection with a deck that I don't care about. So show the cards and get multiple people to select. This would also start in stack. So I would, somebody would pick a card. The first one I would peek. So I would peek what is next. This is not in stack right now, but I would peek this card, and know what the next one is. So one of the cards I know. Next one I would force, because I would just have it on top. I would just force my top card. And then other people, I would just pick one, and they can really just pick random cards. I don't care. They can pick some guy, just think of a card, whatever. And then they all have cards. 2 of them I know. One is forced, one I've peeked. And then they just place them all back. I don't care. I don't have to here, because that's the part of multiple selection I don't like. It's put it back here, and then okay, and then this, and then okay, and then you put yours back here, and then like this, and yours here. That I don't really like. But just you have a card, just put it in. Could you and then pass the deck down? Could you do this? And then some guy ends up with the deck, so you just shuffle the deck. It does not matter, because we're gonna use these cards, and then bring out this deck, get this one from the guy, and like, oh, you shuffle it, I don't know. So let's, oh, actually, and then, okay, we're gonna use those cards, okay. So I'm now switched to a stack. And I am so far ahead now, because right now I forced a card, which I can reveal in any way. I can have it in my shoe, whatever, and I've peeked the card, which just gives me a card I know beforehand. And then I just do basic like jazz mem deck work. So, what was your card? Two of diamonds. Okay, 2 of diamonds. Bam, that's the 2 of diamonds. Do mem deck stuff as multiple selection. And the card the card I've peeked, I can control early. So when I found the 2 of diamonds, I can be like, oh, 2 of diamonds, yeah, and what was yours? And then because I've peeked it, I can switch to that one, and again end up with a card I forced or whatever. It's just a fun idea to do multiple selection, because usually when I do a lot of close up, just casually with friends, or if I'm at a party and I'm just showing somebody and I end up having a group, I will usually do stuff where I keep full shuffling the cards, and I'm like, oh, you can try and name one and do stuff. And this is just put into a routine that is multiple selection with that whole mem deck style that I like. So just an idea, play around with the deck switch. This is a fun idea to do multiple selection with mem deck. So yeah, just some ideas, some other stuff. That was pretty much it. So we're done. That was it. We're no more sweating in this apartment with Andy Glad when we're gonna go out. And but it was fun sweating with you, Andy.
Fun sweating.
Yeah, had fun. So and thank you for joining the masterclass and supporting me and Vanishing. And I'm really happy that you wanted to look into my little world of stuff. And so next time there's the Q&A, which I would love for you to join, ask questions, because that thing is only going to be fun and good if you show up and ask a lot of questions. And also, for people that's going to look at this later on that didn't attend, you should ask all those questions they would have asked if they could. Because when they buy this in 10 years, when they realize, oh, there's this fun guy from Denmark, we should have a look, you should have asked all those questions they are going to think of in 10 years. So please join me then, and thank you for joining me now. I hope you had fun. I certainly did. And yeah, see you next week. Bye-bye.